who scored on this ground for Waitakere. They lost the game 3-1, but they won the O-League title and qualified for the FIFA Club World Cup in Japan, where they played Adelaide United, I think. Paul Seaman scored before Waitakere were eventually beaten 2-1, but we're underway here at Lawson Thomas Stadium. It's Chris Wood. Good tackle from Beirun. Kai. Judica Lazui, who plays his football in the French 3rd Division with Hier. Lazui is one of 2 New Caledonian players who are on yellow cards. The other is Marius Barco. So if they were cautioned here this afternoon, they would miss the next match. Leo Bertos is already going to miss the next match for New Zealand. He's been cautioned here already for pulling Olivia Dokanengo's shirt.
And that's something that's got to be managed as well, because this qualifying, there's still another 6 games to go for World Cup qualification, and all the cards mount up. And as it gets near the latter stages of that, it's going to be something that, well, 7 matches as well, if you get through to the 8th rather, if you get through to that last phase against CONCACAF. And that's something that Ricky Herbert and his squad are going to have to manage. We saw how expensive it could be for Glenn Moss last time around.
Well, New Zealand have a corner. Chris Wood has placed himself inside that 6-yard box. Killen and Sigmund. Tommy Smith are at the far post. Shane Smeltz is going to hit the near post. Over it comes. Oh, and a chance, and it's over the top of the bar, but well, New Zealand have to get those on target. We were somewhat critical of New Caledonia, but that was an opportunity.
And you're wondering where the foul is coming in here. Look at Nukeni, he's on his backside and no one's touched him. I thought he'd been pushed over by one of his own defenders. And they must be getting very nervous, because he doesn't look sure at all. He doesn't know whether to come for it or not. And a bit of a liability at the moment from set pieces. There was a bit of sentiment back in New Zealand that perhaps this all-white side have been underperforming and deserve stick for not putting these island sides away. I think that if those people had been out here watching the games, that's a rather patronising and condescending attitude to have. They are, as you've mentioned at half-time, Gordon, they have improved over recent years, and in these conditions.
Well, now here's a chance for New Zealand. It goes to the near post. Shane Smeltz and Azui getting a tangle. And, yeah, Azui turns to Shane Smeltz and says, well, what did you expect? Frustration shown by Shane Smeltz. Here's the ball in to the near post. Smeltz has his arm around the top of Azui. Azui is trying to get his left arm in the air to offset any impression that he's deliberately fouling Smeltz. Sigmund for Bertos. Barbarouses is pushed further forward. Killen is shown short for Bertos. Heiko's going to chase down Sigmund. Gleason's clearance only as far as Barco. Oh, he lost his bearings, Marius Barco, and gives away a foul.
And a bright start though for New Zealand. I think they'll be buoyed by that. But they'll be wanting to get that goal to give them a bit of space, because we know that New Caledonia are going to keep coming at them.
Leo Bertos against Wakali. Well taken by Rocky Nyakene. Plays his football for FC Gaicha in the New Caledonian domestic competition, alongside Emil Beirun and Marius Barco. Here is the ball in from Leo Bertos, and Chris Wood was lurking to Nyakene's right. Good confidence booster for the 20-year-old. Chris Wood Now Barbarousis. Michael McGlinchey has made a run to the far post. He's unmarked. Barco. Well, that's a tough one for Bertrand Kai to get after. And it's a throw into New Caledonia.
And New Zealand will be pleased it's down the left-hand side and nowhere near Azui to launch those long ones that he did in the first half that caused them a bit of problems.
Whipped in by Bertrand Kai. That's an easy one. And in fact, the flag's gone up from Tefita Makasini.
And it's good to see New Zealand full of running from their perspective in this second half. They've started off picking the pace up, and they need to try and keep in the ascendancy as long as possible, because it's we've seen what happens once these island sides get their tails up.
Smelts, that's a great header from Smelts. Mikali's covered it off. George Gopa Fenipes for New Caledonia. Plays a short ball into Wakanumene. Now McGlinchey has it, skips away from Bearoon. Well played, Michael McGlinchey. Bearoon looked as though he was out to collect an ankle there. And the Central Coast Mariners midfielder read it and clipped in a pass that eventually was offside. Well, Marius Barker had an intriguing first half. I felt that his short game, if you like, was to the fore. There's a shot from Kaboo. Harmlessly wide. But other aspects of his game, his shooting and his long-range passing, I thought weren't up to his usual standard.
No, he hasn't looked in form or in sorts in this particular game. His all-round game, we've seen him play a lot better than that in this tournament and expect a lot of him. I thought they might switch Kaboo inside, but Kaboo again, I mean, that was the wrong option to take there. And he showed in the last game against Vanuatu that he really does possess a wide range of passing. And I suggest that New Caledonia would benefit from it if he could put the likes of Heiko and particularly Bertrand Kai away. I wonder if we'll see that big gaps opening up in the midfield that we saw in the first game, when no matter how fit you are and how conditioned you are, these games that they've had in the last few days start to take their toll. And I think that we'll see that. And I'm wondering, what changes will you be looking for from, for instance, firstly for the All Whites?
Well, that is interesting. I'm guessing that one option would be to introduce Rory Fallon and maybe start playing this game more directly. I know that well, we spoke about this before the match, that the two centre halves for New Caledonia are probably the weakest link. Now, having said that, of course, they both played exceptionally well today. So there is a plus and a minus to taking that approach.
It depends what approach we're going to. He has introduced Jeremy Brockie. Brockie's worked really hard as well. He's delivered a few good crosses as well. He might decide that maybe Leo Bertos and Jeremy Brockie might change side. Michael Rojas is a possibility, but he's been disappointing, really. It hasn't been his tournament. He got badly beaten up by monster Fijian defence in the first game, missed out on the second one, and was substituted in the third game. So there's a few guys. Aaron Clapham might be another possibility if you're looking. Someone's going to add a bit of. You won't lose anything in terms of defensive formation in the midfield, but he might open something up for you. He also might give away a penalty. He seems to have perfected the fend in this tournament, and sometimes he gets away with it and sometimes he doesn't.
Alan Moison has less options, I think, at his disposal. He has turned in the past to Miguel Kaiara and Roy Kaiara. Noel Caldere, who plays for AS Magenta, played in the O-League for AS Magenta, could be an option as well. But there's Wood's header, not a bad one. Smelts just lurking in behind, I think that's Azui. Oh no, it's Wakanumene, I apologise.
They do look similar. They do have a similar gait about them. And you've got to love Ben Sigmund. He's He's no nonsense and so reliable. And a real darling of not just All Whites fans, but also his club fans at the Wellington Phoenix.
Well, Ben Sigmund disappeared off the radar for a time. He played National League football for Christchurch City back in 2000 and played in the ASB Premiership for Canterbury United Dragons, Auckland City, and was then picked up by the Wellington Phoenix. He's a pretty forthright character as well. He says it as he sees it, and he certainly approaches his football in the same way.
I'll never forget the first leg of the World Cup qualifier, 2009, up in Bahrain, which I was lucky enough to go to, and his performance in stifling heat on a very energy-sapping pitch was nothing short of superhuman.
Zui's throw-in goes in and then goes out. Lockhead. Oh, and Chris Wood thumped by Zui. McGlinchey's made an early run. Lockhead is going to take his time. Tommy Smith will take this. Smith looking to the far post, looking for Chris Wood, perhaps. Waka Numene does very well to win that header. Killen has it again for New Zealand. Now Heiko. Sigmund. Waka Numene. Barco. Manages to drag that down the Gacha. Oh, and that's a good ball.
Well out by Gleeson, but that's the Barco that we're used to seeing. That's the Barco that can create stuff for New Caledonia.
So the tension at Lawson Tama Stadium in Honiara is mounting. The longer this game goes on without a goal, the more confidence New Caledonia will draw from that scenario.
And other than the fans, I don't believe anyone out here is looking forward to the prospect of extra time.
Extra time in Honiara, well.
Apart from perhaps the Tahitians in the
Yes.
final wanting the legs run off their
Yes.
opponents with only a day's rest between the two games.
Sigmund with a lump forward. Yes, Tahiti came through a group containing New Caledonia, Vanuatu and Samoa. They rotated their side and of course had a softer match against the group whipping boys, and they would not be complaining if the team they eventually meet in the final has had to endure extra time and a penalty shootout.
And they're not just physically draining, they're emotionally draining as well of the players. There's a lot of tension, there's a lot at stake. And for New Zealand, reputations as much as a place at the Confederations Cup.
Bertos with the free kick for New Zealand. It's lofted in, target is Wood. Oh, and that's an easy one for Nyakene. I mean, he had to do the job, he had to make the save, but Wood didn't get enough power on it to trouble the youngster. Now, if they start bombing in long balls, and they've got Rory Fallon in there as well, New Zealand, Rocky Nyakene could soon find himself under aerial assault.
Let's have another look at that. Oh, no, we're not having another look at it. I thought we were going to have another look at it, but maybe not. I noticed, remember in the first game when Fenipez had a magnificent first half, had the ball a lot, then he drifted out a little bit, as did Bertrand Kai, but they inject themselves in at the right moment. And it'd be dangerous to, it's almost as if they know how to conserve their energy. And it'd be dangerous to underestimate them, but I've got to say I think New Zealand have started this second half better than any of their previous 3 games.
Oh, and Bertrand Kai's in! Oh, he scores! Bertrand Kai has scored for New Caledonia on the hour mark.
And just as I was saying, almost Nostradamus-like, or maybe Nostradamus, don't take your eye off Kai. And It seemed like an almost innocuous ball, but you give this man a sniff and he makes you pay. And that'll be a real blow to New Zealand, because they have been on top in this half, and as I was saying, they've looked the best they've looked in any of their previous 3 games. And the ball knocked in there, I think that was by Dr. Nengo. A little flick from Heiko, and there he is. He just knows the lines to run. He is predatory.
New Zealand are in trouble.
Leo Bertels battling away there, showing the urgency for New Zealand, winning the throw.
McGlinchey trying to work himself onto his left foot.
And this is the first time we've seen New Zealand go behind in this tournament. It's going to be interesting how they react here. How will the management team react? And a card being brought out there. The Tahitian referee deciding there was an element of, I'm not sure exactly what that was for, deliberate obstruction or opening of the mouth perhaps.
New Caledonia's last victory over New Zealand was back in October 1976.
And Ivan Viselic pleading with the referee to play the advantage there. He certainly won't get any let up from Ivan.
So New Caledonia's last victory over New Zealand was in 76. They were beaten 2-1, and New Zealand's goal was scored by Brian Turner, no less.
And here's Jeremy Brockie by the look of things.
And Rojas.
I think Rojas is coming on because of the fact they've gone behind, and it's got to be all-out attack. And maybe this is the game for him to show what he can do with the ball at his feet. He's a very, very exciting player. He hasn't quite clicked at this tournament, but cometh the hour, cometh the man.
Yamal Kabu commits the tackle.
And interesting, Kabu's been more effective and operating more in a defensive role today than the attacking one we saw him in the other day against Vanuatu. And we'll have a little look and see who's coming off. Leo Bertos, as expected, Brockie. And Chris Wood looking to be the one. So it looks like it's going to be on the ground that they're going to attack rather than aerially.
Azui's throw headed clear by Tommy Smith. Azui returns it. Smith beats Bertrand Kai in the air. Well, the Confederations Cup is worth a financial windfall of some importance. It's over $1 million US, as I understand it. But it's 3 quality matches in Brazil, where the FIFA World Cup will be played in 2014.
Perhaps Zui launch another one of those long throws. Marco Rojas has got the potential to add the excitement and the danger that Fenipes has done for New Caledonia. If they can get him some ball in space. So it's confirmation there of the yellow card for Ben Sigmund. I didn't see the particular incident. I can only assume it was for his forthrightness that Gordon Watson was mentioning before. And here's Kabu.
It's a corner for New Caledonia. Well, I said before that this Lawson Tama Stadium crowd were very open-minded to supporting New Zealand. That's shifted now. There's no doubt about it. They're backing the underdogs. What New Zealand got left in the tank. They've got around about 25.5 minutes available to them to retrieve the situation. Marius Barco, and that's an example of what we were talking about, his long-range game. That was just a simple set piece, and Barco wastes it.
Yeah, takes the pressure off New Zealand. Jake Gleeson can launch another attack, and they've got one more substitution up their sleeve. They're not going to press the panic button yet. They'll see
confirmation of the scoreline: New Zealand 0, New Caledonia 1. The goal scorer Bertrand Kai after 60 minutes. He's a special player, Bertrand Kai. As New Zealand have discovered to their cost so far. Rojas, Olivia Dokanengo sweeping in front of that back four diligently.
Just wondering if anyone's been given the instruction to give Rojas the introductions that the Fijians gave to him, just to try and unsettle him.
So Jeremy Brockie will take the throw. Chris Killen moves forward toward the 6-yard box. Wakali's marking him. Oh, it's bounced and it's away, and McGlinchey has a shot. Oh, he's hit the crossbar. Killen, the header over the crossbar. So close for New Zealand.
Again, disarray in the New Caledonia events, and Michael McGlinchey. See that bounce? We've seen that bounce cause a lot of problems. It's the pitch is very, very hard, and that was so close to being an equaliser that the All Whites are seeking. But it has caught a few out. We saw an incident with the goalkeeper as well, getting caught out from a seemingly innocuous ball from about 40 yards the other day.
Fenipes turns Sigmund. Well, I think the point of contention, the bone of contention for Alain Moison will be that the ball was allowed to bounce. Centre halves, we talked about the centre halves before, perhaps being a weakness for New Caledonia. They've been offered plenty of protection today by Olivia Dokanengo. And on that particular occasion, they were afforded some protection by the crossbar.
Here's Barco, and he's laid one through. That must have been very, very tight, or was he well offside? It's very hard to see from this angle. But Barco putting Fenipes through, and again, Fenipes injecting, hasn't done really much in this half, but injected himself at what could have been a pivotal moment. Nyakeni from coming out a couple of times and seems to have grown in confidence so far in this half. And he might well need to be before the end of this game.
Plenty more to come now. Jacques Heiko has picked it up and takes it into the corner. Yamal Kabu provides support. Only Bertrand Kai in the penalty area, away by Visilic. He may look to push forward as this game goes on. Wakanumene, and that's a centre half's effort on goal from Joel Wakanumene.
I think Fenipes and Kai and Heiko all making runs. One of them hoping that they might be on the receiving end of a through ball. But you can't blame a centre half for having a crack when you get that far upfield.
No, and why not? They're 1-0 up, New Caledonia. Incredible stuff. Rojas. Cut out by Birun. Now Kabu. Fenipes has made a run forward. Sigmund has picked him up. Well, Red Ben Sigmund, but Fenipes gets a second go.
And well done, Ben Sigmund there. And you've got to think that Fenipes, if he'd have played the ball first time, he had Kabu in front of him. But Sigmund doesn't need a second opportunity to get back and do his defensive work.
Brockie. Dominic Wakali provides the block. Switch of play by Sigmund. Lockhead.
Oh, lovely ball from Lockhead, and Rockhouse has moved into space.
Throw-in for New Zealand. New Zealand's biggest win over New Caledonia was 5-1 in September of '58. How they wish it was 58 here today as Barbarouses tries to go around Wakanumene. Oh, and all sorts of mayhem going on in that New Caledonia 6-yard box. That was some pretty eccentric defensive work by Bearoon, and the young goalkeeper Nyakene was forced into a one-handed save.
I think that might have also been Wakamuname. Let's just keep going now because it's... And Nyakene saving them. They're really coming to it. It'll be interesting to see a replay on that, but at the moment we're almost at the other end. Oh! And Lockhead coming back to cover. And hit too long by Ivan Visilic. Look at that. The two of them, the two getting tangled up there, Bearoon and Wakamuname. Too many cooks almost spoiling the broth there, but Nyakene keeping them in the game.
Under 20 minutes left. New Caledonia 1, New Zealand 0. Here's Dokanengo. Tries to exchange. That's an ambitious ask, but Dokanengo did well to even make a foot race of it.
And, no mercy shown by the referee on that one. But he's been consistent. They've been consistent throughout the tournament. They're allowing hard and fair challenges, and I think he was of the opinion that Dokanengo had basically lost control of that ball, and any contact may have been incidental. And good to see again, played in great spirit these games.
New Zealand's last defeat to a team within Oceania was against Fiji in the OFC Nations Cup 2008. They were beaten 2-0 in what was effectively a dead rubber. If they lose this one, well, they can't say that this was a dead rubber. That's a great ball that Dominique Wakali had to hoist away from Jeremy Brockie.
Well, Fenipez cops a bit of a clatter there from Ben Sigmund.
Barco. Heiko. Looking to line one up on the right foot. Oh, and Bertrand Kai's appeared just from behind Ivan Visilic.
And he's been given offside, and that could well be a fortuitous decision for the New Zealand defence. And you can see this, that the New Caledonia have got no intention of giving this one up, and that was very tight as well. They're having the compulsory, the second water break now, 18 minutes to go. There'll be a 2-minute water break. And Gordon, I was just about to say that New Caledonia have shown no intention of just sitting on this lead. They want to go out and get another one. They believe that they can make the game safe.
Well, why not? They've got New Zealand having to open the game up now and really come after them. Now look at this. Bertrand Kai just ducking in behind the centre halves. And that's his favourite finish, really. He does like to use the outside of the right foot, and that was perfect for Bertrand Kai and perfect for New Caledonia.
He just reacts so quickly to it, and his movement's magnificent, and I suppose we're lucky enough up here having this high vantage point on the top of the roof of the main stand. And you just see the way that he's making the move towards it now and just accelerates, injects himself into the game and finishes with aplomb. And we've seen, we mentioned it, that the game, the momentum can change in these water breaks. This maybe might be a chance for New Zealand to rest back the initiative. And you look at the New Zealand players absolutely dripping with sweat. A few of the boys were talking the other day. I mean, these are fit guys as well, not overweight fat slobs like myself, and they're losing 4 kilos in a game, 4 to 5 kilos. That's a lot. And here we see a chance, and they didn't clear that. It's allowed to bounce. They didn't clear it again, and Michael McGlinchey so close. And the crossbar coming to the rescue for New Caledonia, and they keep their lead intact. We're going to see a substitution. It looks like Roy Kayara, I think, coming on. And it's Jacques Heiko, the number 9, coming off. So Bertrand Kai, one would imagine, I know, is going to go back to his lone We say wolf normally, but he's a shark, we've decided. Kaira seems to be pushing up pretty high first up. Let's see how he settles into the game and we can get more of a look at where he's going to be positioned.
Here's Jeremy Brocky. Cross lofted to the near post. And Yekini takes it comfortably.
And he has grown this half, hasn't he? He looked nervous every time the ball came anywhere near him in the first half, but this half he's looked like a rock. Well, more than rocky.
Lockhead takes it on the knee, slips. Roy Kayara has a go at it. Judikai Lazui.
And he left it well then. That was a very clever leap by Azui. He leapt, basically just blocking the ball. And that ball's gone out. And Azui seems to have had a trouble in this half with the throws, the sweat, the moisture. It's hard to get a grip on the ball. New Zealand picking the pace up now. They're going to get into, and there's a lovely turn from Rojas.
Oh, Rojas still has it. Now Barbarouses takes a deflection and squirts out to the edge of the New Caledonia penalty area. And that is going to find Brocky offside. Well, time starting to slip away. We're under a quarter of an hour to go. There's another look at that ball in. Rocky Nyekene, strong hands from the 20-year-old goalkeeper. Plays for FC Gaicha in New Caledonia's Super League. There are a lot of skeptics around Lawson Tamo, I can tell you, about Rocky Nyekene, but he's played with distinction here today. Still some way to go, though. Here's Kabu taking on Lockhead. Can he get to the byline? He goes to the near post, and that takes pressure off Gleeson. Now for McGlinchey. New Zealand pushing 4 players forward. Azui fouls Rojas. Barbarouses looking to take it quickly. Rojas has done. McGlinchey. Oh, McGlinchey and Rojas not on the same page.
And yes, Emmail Kabu hasn't been the same player we saw the other day. He impressed me with his passing range today. He seems to, I don't know, most of the time he's actually tried to take it on himself rather than put his teammates through. And Bertram Kai managing to win his side a throw on there with that challenge. And Azui seeing if he can get one right. He's throwing a couple straight out this half.
Lockhead does well to wind that header back. Free kick to New Caledonia.
I think it's a throw. I think it might be a throw rather than a free kick.
No, you're right. Azui can turn this into an advantage similar to a free kick, though. He's got an enormous throw. Here it is. Oh, look at that. Gleeson has to punch. Oh, well, the follow through by Azui, not of the same caliber as the throw.
And it's been quite noticeable how defensively minded and mindful of his defensive responsibilities or duties, I might say, Azui's been. Every other game we've seen him play, he's been raiding up and down this right wing. Today, he's been mainly staying back and doing an effective job as well. And here he is again involved with Marco Rojas.
Oh, well played, Marco Rojas, but Barbarouses had gone into an offside position. That was there was no doubt about that.
Another disciplined performance from one of these island sides, and you mentioned it earlier on, Gordon, and we're seeing an example of it here, that they have, with coaching and with greater exposure, and I think the O-League has definitely helped with that, getting more international style competition. Those little bits of their game, those little ill-disciplined parts of the game that cost them so dearly, they're slowly starting to eliminate. That's not to say that we're not going to see another example of it before the end of the game.
No, and the majority of these teams out with Fiji and Papua New Guinea are drawing their football talent from usually under 500,000 people. That's the population population base that a lot of these countries have to work with. There are a smattering of players that do play overseas, but most of those tend to be in the ASB Premiership. We're talking about Solomon Islanders, and here's, oh, that's blocked. Azui blocks Rojas' left foot attempted cross. Some tired-looking New Zealanders out there.
They've still got enough impetus, though. They're still creating chances. They're creating opportunities. They're putting the pressure on New Caledonia. And they've got enough presence in that box to cause problems.
Oh, Rocky Nyakene. Not very convincing, but it's going to result in a counter-attack for New Caledonia. Barco. Lunging challenge by Lockhead. It could be an important one. Sigmund trying to find a way through.
And he's offside again. Shane Smelt's caught offside.
You see, this is an example of what we're talking about in terms of discipline and organisation. Teams in the Pacific haven't really had a great track record of trying to play a high line, a high defensive line, and we've seen it employed by Fiji, who didn't even make it out of the group stage. Papua New Guinea, another team that was eliminated early, but they were defensively, relatively speaking, very sound.
Oh, and there's a booking coming already, and we saw this in the first semi-final, that referees are going to have absolutely no bar of time wasting in these second halves.
No, and that's the first yellow card of the tournament for Rocky Nyakene.
But I would imagine, I don't know, I'm just my perception of it, New Zealand will be amongst the most penalised sides at this tournament for offside. Which shows how disciplined the defences they've been playing against have been.
Azui. Well, Judikyle Azui is 24 years of age. He's had to wait for a few seasons before nailing down this right back berth. Benjamin Longyu, who's no longer part of the international scene, used to play for Bastia and Liga, has since retired. And Azui now starting to collect a fair share of international caps for New Caledonia. And the keeper is yellow carded. Now Barco's ball forward for for Kai. Finds Bertrand Kai offside.
And as in the first game, Fenipez has been almost anonymous in this half. But the danger is with New Zealand pushing up and searching for this equaliser, and you've got to commend their energy, and I don't know where they're getting it from. There's a liability that they might get caught.
Barbarousis switches play to Rojas. Takes on Azui, cuts onto his right foot. Rojas is going to need help. Where is he? Thrown for New Zealand. Marco Rojas has rolled that into the path of Yamal Kabu. Yamal Kabu is a veteran of 2 South Pacific Games football tournaments, both of those won by New Caledonia. It's a highly regarded date on the football calendar for Oceania countries. Well, Bertrand Kai is appealing for a handball from Gleeson. He's convinced. And Visilic was looking at Gleeson to come off his line a lot sooner.
And we apologise, we seem to have lost our clock.
Azui decides to go long into the corner. Roy Kaiara was looking for a ball to feet. Ben Sigmund. Oh, they've let it bounce, and Rocky Nyakene has to head it clear. Foul on Nyakene. Well, this is part of the issue for me for the New Caledonian centre halves. They've let the ball bounce. They're quite content to let the ball bounce at crucial times, and if you're going to try and protect a goalkeeper who's got 3 caps and isn't the tallest of custodians, then you can't do that.
A very brave effort. He was left with no option here. He goes up and wins it, and I can't really, I suppose really, technically it's a foul, but I think he's just trying to take evasive action. Wasn't trying to harm the keeper, he's just trying to get out of the way so that there wasn't a big clash. Lost his footing a little bit. Have another look at this. And McGlinchey realising he's not going to get to the ball. Not too much in that. But again, as you say, letting that ball bounce, and on this pitch, it's very hard pitch. It's going to, the bounce is true, but we're seeing Rory Fallon looking like he's going to come on, and interesting to see who's going to make way for him. New Zealand, their last throw of the dice really, and we've got a clock back. There's 4.5 minutes of normal time. Don't forget, we'll get 1-0 still to New Caledonia. We'll get the 2 minutes added on for the water break, plus whatever time the fourth official decides she'll be added on for injuries, and maybe a little bit of time wasting.
Wellington Phoenix defender, midfielder Tony Lockhead has come off. Rory Fallon of Aberdeen has come on.
And I think an advantage to New Zealand has been the fact that it's been quite a few degrees cooler today. It's 33, I think, for the first game. It may even be with a cloud cover, a little bit less than that now.
Now they will, New Zealand, will want to wind over a long throw from Jeremy Brockie and just land it right on Rory Fallon's head, you would hope. If you're watching from New Zealand, that is. Oh, and that cross is overhit. It's a goal kick even. Well, if you think about the feel-good factor engendered by the 2010 FIFA World Cup exploits of the All Whites, not only in New Zealand but throughout Oceania, they certainly went to South Africa with the blessing of all the member associations. Here's Roy Kaiara. Fenipez has hit the near post, and Roy Kaiara has hit the pitch.
And taking a big divot out there, and that's, again though, Fenipez choosing that time to inject himself into the game. He's done almost nothing this half. And Izui continuing with his good game.
Well, just think of the implication of New Zealand not making it to the OFC Nations Cup final, not making it to the Confederations Cup. Veteran Kai has been replaced. It's Noel Caldray who's introduced.
It looks like we'll see Kaiara operating perhaps as the solo front man.
Caldray is an attacking midfielder. 31 years of age and plays his football with AS Magenta. A very familiar face in the OFC Champions League. Noel Caldray, and also has played at South Pacific Games football tournaments. Here's Barbarouses. It's a goal kick. Less than 2 minutes of normal time to be played. New Zealand trail New Caledonia by 1-0.
And are we in for a little bit of drama now and some extra time? Still, you'd imagine a minimum of 5 minutes injury time to be added up. The 2 minutes for the water break, plus the traditional 3 minutes, which seems to be par for the course nowadays.
Roy Kaiara picks up Vasilic's header. Kabu. Sigmund's done enough to earn New Zealand a throw deep inside their own half.
And Mozart exhorting his midfield and front men to get back and do a bit of defensive work. And Chris Killen copying a bit of a late challenge there from Kabu. I'm sure we won't worry too much about that.
Balance flick for Smelts.
And
Wakanumene has taken a knock. Wakali still had to cut out that ball from reaching Costa Barbarouses. Now McGlinchey has made a run. There's 4 New Zealand players in the box unmarked. Oh! No takers for the header.
And that had equaliser written all over it. led to another apoplectic attack from New Caledonia coach. Look at this. McGlinchey is broken free, pops it over. There's so many of them queuing up. You can't help but feel that Rory Fallon would have made the most of that had he had it dropped to him. But the clock ticks on. 20 seconds to go.
Under 20 seconds to go of normal time. New Zealand have in the past lost matches in the Oceania World Cup qualifying pathway. Papua New Guinea in 1997. They lost in Port Moresby by 1-0. They were beaten in Fiji in the last game of the 2008 OFC Nations Cup.
We're going to get 6 minutes, which will be a 6 minutes of injury time, which will be good news for New Zealand and their fans. Not so good news for French coach Alain Mazin, who I think he wants every New Zealand player hung, drawn and quartered for that particular challenge. He's getting quite emotional now.
Well, look, to provide some balance there, it was quite interesting to see the New Caledonians remonstrating with Alain Moison and telling him to calm his jets. Plenty of time for New Zealand to come back from this.
And this could open it up for them there. A poor free kick. It sits straight into there. Smelts is pushing it up.
McGlinchey, he's got Barbarousis and loads of space out on this right-hand side. There are 5 New Zealand players on the edge of the 18-yard box. And the cross can't reach any of them. Now, it's 1 against 1 here.
Kaboo against Smith.
He cuts inside. Roy Kayara has taken him out. Now can Kaboo find Fenapez? He can seal it for New Caledonia. Oh, and he can! George got Fenapez for New Caledonia. Unbelievable scenes at Lawson Thomas Stadium. The South Pacific Games champions are heading for the OFC Nations Cup final. And they're just potentially one match away from the FIFA Confederations Cup. Is it going to be an all-French final? It certainly looks like it. There's a few heads hanging in all white strips.
And that was exceedingly, that's the sort of pass I expected from Kaboo. That's the sort of delivery he gave in the last game against Vanuatu. And as we mentioned about Fenapez, he's done nothing this half, but he's injected himself in and took it very, very calmly. And you can't say, Gordon, here we are, you see that, a lovely ball, totally unselfish, takes his time, lovely little dink over the top. Gleeson had no chance. Still plenty of time though, still 4 minutes left in this game.
They are a side with a ton of character, New Caledonia. They were 3-0 down against Tahiti with 9 players, and they pulled it back to 3-2, and Tahiti were wobbling before they settled it and won 4-3. New Zealand on the verge of a defeat. Their first loss to New Caledonia in 36 years.
It's not over yet.
Fallon. Wakali finds Roy Kayara. Now Yamal Kaboo. Kaboo to his right. He's got Roy Kayara. He's taking it to the corner. Intelligent play by Visilic, but New Zealand have got to get this forward. They have to get it forward fast.
And you can't say, as I mentioned, you can't say they don't deserve it.
No.
You know, it's very easy to condemn the All Whites and to say that it was a poor performance from them. The reality is this has been a very, very tough tournament with the island sides playing some fantastic football, fully committed, and they've been very, very disciplined.
Fallon, taken down. The referee has played on. We've had nearly 4 minutes of additional time. New Caledonia lead New Zealand by 2-0.
It's launched back, should be easy for Gleeson. I'm sure he'll launch it straight back with a bit of interest.
This is the 27th meeting of the two countries. New Zealand have won 15, and it looks as though New Caledonia are about to notch their 11th victory in this fixture. Tommy Smith hoists this in, looking for Fallon. Dokanengo. They've won 2 South Pacific Games championships. They finished runners-up in the 2008 OFC Nations Cup. And now they've got their eye on a bigger prize. Fallon. Zui has to fashion a clearance. New Zealand 0, New Caledonia 2. If New Zealand can pull one back here, expect a frenetic finish. Smith to the far post, there's no takers.
And it's almost really that a different goalkeeper has turned out in the second half for him. He's grown in confidence very early on in the game. He took a great, came out and cleared up a ball that got dropped in behind his defence, and he's looked solid ever since.
Chris Killen has asked Norbert Huata how long they've got left to go. Just 1 minute, less than a minute. Dokanengo sprays it wide on the right. This could be curtains for New Zealand at this tournament. Caboose past Visilic, he's past Killen, there's 2. Fenipez can make it 3. Oh, and he shoots wide. Selfish from George Gopa Fenipez. He had an option outside him on the left. I think it was Noel Cowdray. Norbert Huata checks his watch.
I think that's just about it, and it's down to referee's time now. The referee's taken, pointing to his assistants. It's down to me.
Shane Smelt still running. Ben Sigmund. Well, New Zealand rested key players with this match in mind. They certainly didn't have this scoreline in mind. Fallon for Barbarousis. Rojas, Fallon in the box, goes to the far post. Yinkene takes it. That is it. New Zealand are out of the OFC Nations Cup. New Caledonia, for the first time in 36 years, have knocked over New Zealand amid emotional scenes. Alain Moison, the former coach of Mali, the Senegalese-born former French international, has guided New Caledonia to arguably their greatest moment. And maybe there's more to come still, Miles, with a final against Tahiti to not only decide the winner of the OFC Nations Cup, but qualify perhaps for a place in Brazil at the FIFA Confederations Cup. Either way, we're going to have a new representative. Priscilla Duncan is sidelined with Alain Moison.
Thank you very much, Alain. Quel est votre premier sentiment sur ce match?
Écoutez, c'est fantastique. Hein. C'était, je dirais, du 100 contre 1 au pari, et on a réussi à le faire. Donc, et puis, en y mettant la manière, donc ça c'était très très important. Voilà, on a fait l'exploit que personne n'avait réussi ici, et on a battu la grande équipe de Nouvelle-Zélande, en tout cas la grande équipe dans le Pacifique.
Que pensez-vous de votre adversaire?
Écoutez, je crois qu'ils ont montré leurs limites. Cette équipe paraissait fatiguée, paraissait sûrement atteinte par la chaleur. Je crois qu'ils ont eu beaucoup de mal sur les matchs de poule et puis sur la demi-finale. Voilà, je savais qu'en mettant du rythme, qu'en mettant de la vitesse, les Solomonais nous avaient montré un petit peu comment faire. Et c'est ce que j'ai mis en place, donc du jeu très très rapide vers l'avant. Et voilà, et puis avec la vitesse des garçons, on a beaucoup gêné cette défense.
Et quelle sera la clé pour gagner cette finale?
Écoutez, d'abord de bien récupérer, ça c'est évident. On a fait un gros match, donc le danger maintenant c'est d'avoir des garçons qui seront concentrés dans 2 jours, c'est pas évident. Donc voilà, j'espère qu'ils n'ont pas fini le tournoi aujourd'hui dans leur tête en tout cas. On va essayer de les remobiliser, ça va pas être facile, mais on va essayer.
Ok, merci beaucoup. Back to you, Gordon.
It's a fantastic day for New Caledonian football, a 100-1 performance. And for every happy story, there has to be a sad element to that. And Ricky Herbert, the All Whites coach, is with Priscilla.
Thanks very much, Gordon. Well, Ricky, what can you say? I'm sure hugely disappointing not to make the final, but also to miss out on that Confederations Cup spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's a real travesty, really. I mean, probably never been this disappointed before, you know. But we haven't really played well at the tournament, and you know, let's give some credit to these guys. I mean, they worked hard today, and you know, better side on the day.
You've had Smeltz miss the header in the first half, and McGlinchey hit the post, so I guess there were chances in this game.
Yeah, you got to put them in the back of the net, though. We weren't good enough to do that today, and you know, I think over the 90 minutes is probably a fair reflection.
Coming into this tournament, did you think it would be this tough?
Yeah, look, it's you know, personally I've been here a few times, and it's not easy, but you know, at the end of the day, we wanted to be successful through it. We haven't.
Okay, thanks very much. I'll let you get on with it. Thanks. Back to you.
Let's take a look at the 2 goals that were scored. Ricky Herbert clearly a disappointed man.
A little touch there from Jacques Aiko and snapped up by Bertrand Kai. Lovely finish, and Jake Gleason did the right thing coming out. He had no chance with that. And the second one coming through. Oh no, still another replay
that was
of
Heiko. And look at the space that Bertrand Kai had to run into. And New Zealand stretch, pushing for that elusive equaliser. Yamal Kabu unselfishly spotted George Gopa-Fenapez, and look at the right foot finish. Calm, composed, cool. When they required quality, New Caledonia, they got it. And New Zealand beaten 2-0 here. First time in 36 years that New Caledonia have won, and look at what it means to them. Alan Moison, emotional in the extreme, and there is George Gopa-Fenapez. Big smile from him. And New Caledonia dancing to the local beat that booms out from the dressing room end of the ground. The final score here at Lawson Thomas Stadium in the OFC Nations Cup semi-final, New Caledonia 2, New Zealand 0. And we leave you with these happy scenes. I'm Gordon Glenn Watson, and on behalf of Miles Davis and myself, we wish you well, and we'll see you back here in 2 days' time for the OFC Nations Cup final and the playoff for 3rd place. Wherever you are, take care, and we'll see you again very soon.